The question we have been getting here at Paperwork TV all week is, who shot at Grammi? And also, did he talk too much to the feds when they showed up?
I think it's what happened. You can break down what happened. You was chilling on the like, where, like, what you buy? You name friends have address? No, not the hard. They added like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. The mom has to top of the bottom. Top of the bottom. And then you get one more. Where's your boy at? I have the white band right there. So if you go like this, the white band too. We can do like house. So when they shoot at you or just in the area? They were good. Me and him talking. They put it trying to shoot at house. I have the white band right there. So if you go like this, the white band too. We can do like house.
I'll let y'all be the judge on this one. Leave your opinion in the comment section.
It's now time for Crime in the DMV. This is where we bring you the biggest stories of the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sierra Fox. We start in D.C., where police are searching for the young man suspected of shooting and killing a 14-year-old boy at the Brooklyn Catholic University metro station. Fox 5's Bob Barnard is there with the latest details.
The young man who was shot and killed right here yesterday afternoon was indeed a 14-year-old boy whose older brother was murdered at a D.C. metro station 8 years ago. This was the 14-year-old boy shot and killed Thursday. Avion Evans of Northeast D.C., his home just a mile from the metro station where he was murdered around 4 in the afternoon. Police telling us young people on the station platform were fighting. Somebody pulled a gun and started shooting.
It was terrible, so terrible. I feel so sorry for the family.
Avion Evans was pronounced dead here at the metro station. Police releasing new photos of the suspect, who was apparently not involved in the fight. His face clearly shown in the photos. Metro riders here once again shaking their heads.
It's real sad, very sad. And I'm hurting, as we speak. Because, I have a son, and I look at all kids as my sons, and I hope it stops. It needs to stop.
At the ribbon cutting for the new D.C. Health Department headquarters building in Anacostia today, we asked Mayor Muriel Bowser about the murder of Avion Evans.
I can't speak to the specifics of that incident today, but whatever they are, I know it wasn't about anything or worth it.
Witnesses to this shooting, caught on camera Wednesday night on Capitol Hill, say the young people running from that lone gunman also fired shots during the confrontation, 2 of those bullets striking a parked car with a woman inside. Mayor Bowser telling us new legislation she's proposed this week would prevent the placement of some young violent offenders into diversion programs before their cases ever go to court.
We don't think it's appropriate, and more than we, being me and our team, we don't think the public thinks it's appropriate. They want to know that if there's a crime using a gun committed, that there's going to be accountability. So that's what the bill would do.
And we've learned from the Evans family, who lost 14-year-old Avion to gun violence here at the Brooklyn Metro Thursday afternoon, that they buried his older brother John after the 15-year-old was stabbed to death at the Deanwood Metro station, also in Northeast D.C., 8 years ago this month. And I spoke to the family off camera, both the mom and dad, and they say the middle son died in a violent way here in D.C. about a year ago. They didn't explain exactly how that happened, but he was killed. So 3 brothers in this city killed within the last 8 years, 2 of them guys at metro stations.
Now to a Fox 5 exclusive out.
What's good with y'all, Mo? Welcome to Paperwork TV. Today, we will be discussing the murder of 14-year-old Avion Evans, who was unalived on the Brooklyn Metro Station platform after school. Also, we will touch on how DC Mayor Muriel Bowser as well as the MPD, have recently been found responsible for the sale of firearms that were used in previous crimes throughout the city, putting youngins in a trick bag for real. Before we get into it, I need y'all to smash that like and subscribe button for me, Mo. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. Can you imagine the pain of losing not one, not two, but 3 sons to the relentless violence on the streets of the District of Columbia? A city that is supposed to be the home of democracy and freedom now holds the tragic tale of the Evans family. The story begins with the youngest, Avion Evans. Only 14 years old, a teenager who attended Ida B. Wells Middle School in Northwest, had dreams, aspirations, a future. He was gunned down on the Brooklyn Metro Station platform in Northeast DC just last week. A 16-year-old now faces charges for his murder. This story right here, jive, crushed me. Avion wasn't the first in his family to meet such a fate in the city. Over the past 8 years, 2 of his brothers also fell victim to the city's crime crisis. 3 brothers from one family, 2 shot to death, 1 stabbed. It's a reality that shakes us to our core. The father, John Evans, is left with the reality of 3 sons missing in his life. He struggles to make sense of these devastating losses, yet he must continue on. He still has other children to protect, to save. He speaks of his 16-year-old son, who now has to navigate life without his younger brother. John Evans doesn't hold back words when he talks about the government's role in this crisis. He believes that the government should shoulder more responsibility for the safety of the city's young people. He points out the grim reality that children in DC, who should be building their futures, are instead being slaughtered on their way to and from school. The family's pain is deeper than just Avion. The murder of Avion's half-brother, John Coleman, last May still haunts them. He was shot while doing handyman work for a neighbor. And 8 years prior, Johnny, another of Evans's sons, was killed at a metro station during a fight with another teenager. The Evans family story is just one testament to the escalating crime crisis in DC.
Questions tonight over a gun dealer here in D.C. and how well it was operated. This is not your standard gun shop.
As investigative reporter Ted Oberg and the News 4 I-team found, the area's largest police force ended up being in the firearms business itself. Ted?
Yeah, Jim and Ann, it was a surprise to us as well. You know, when a D.C. resident wants a legal handgun, they usually go to a gun store in Virginia, Maryland, find it online. They pay for it and then ship it to a licensed dealer in D.C. That D.C. dealer is the only place that a federal background check is done, and that looks for past convictions or other disqualifications. And for a time, D.C. police was the only one in town doing them, something that's now raising newly uncovered concern. There are only 2 people in the entire district who can help you get a legal handgun in D.C., and Sean Poland is one of them.
I wonder if that needs to be modified.
Poland opened D.C. Security Associates in 2021, one of 2 federal firearms licensees in D.C.
We believe in responsible ownership.
At a time when D.C. had only one other gun dealer, the Metropolitan Police Department. According to everyone we talked to and federal records we've combed through, D.C. was then, and is still now, the only police department anywhere in America to sell guns to the public. The only one. And we've got the records to show how it happened. Fearing Second Amendment scrutiny, D.C. Council passed a law in 2012 allowing the city to deal guns if no private business would do it. And that was the case in the spring of 2020 when Mayor Bowser ordered D.C. police to do it. In April 2020, D.C. police started operating as both the dealer and enforcer of gun laws in the district. Police departments are not supposed to be firearms dealers, are they?
No, heck no. That was my biggest point there. If your firearms branch screws up, you're going to inspect and enforce your own firearms branch?
Months later, Poland remembers, D.C. police couldn't wait to get out of the gun business.
They asked us to open early, by 4 weeks.
Why?
They were getting sick and tired of managing all those firearms they had down there. They had thousands of firearms waiting to be processed.
D.C. police wouldn't talk to us about Poland's claim, but we do know now where some of those guns ended up. After a gun is found at a crime scene, the ATF traces it all the way back to the original sale with dealers like Poland, and then follows the trail to see who else may have bought the gun before it was used in a crime. Detectives use the traces to develop suspects. The ATF cracks down on dealers who sell a higher number of guns eventually recovered at crime scenes, forcing them to report more information and participate in what the ATF calls its Demand Letter 2 program. The agency put DC police in it after tracking dozens of guns from crime scenes in 2021 alone to MPD gun dealing.
We are not anti-gun dealer at Brady. We are anti-irresponsible gun dealing.
The group Brady United Against Gun Violence recently released hundreds of documents related to the program and found it's really rare to be put in it. But we found 14 dealers in the DC area, including Poland's and another who currently operate in DC, and MPD was on the list too.
It was a little bit surprising to see the DC Metropolitan Police Department receive a demand letter.
But not to Poland.
Nope. Does not surprise one bit.
Who says he warned police he didn't think their gun selling practices were tight enough.
I walked in there and it was archaic. The processes, the systems they were using to manage that process was archaic. I offered advice, offered little suggestions.
DC police wouldn't tell the I-Team if it took his advice or answer any questions on camera. A spokesperson only telling us, MPD has never sold guns. MPD was required to operate as an FFL to uphold a constitutional right in the district. During that period, the department facilitated the legal transfer of 8,038 firearms.
Gun dealers are gatekeepers. That's their mandate under the federal law. They have that responsibility and that obligation to make sure that every sale is a safe sale.
But there's another concern the I-Team found, what's called time to crime. The ATF explains, on average, a gun found at a crime scene is 10 years past its first sale. Shorter times, the agency tells us, deserve more scrutiny. And in DC Police's case, the time to crime was around 20 months, less than 2 years. Sharp says, even though DC Police no longer operate as an FFL, the department should want to know why their time to crime was so much shorter, and be able to tell DC families if their loved one was shot with a gun they helped bring into the district.
MPD is ultimately responsible for the public safety of the residents of Washington, D.C. Everything that they do should have an eye towards protecting the public safety.
Before D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser told D.C. police to get into the gun business, she was criticizing Virginia lawmakers for not overseeing dealers in the Commonwealth strictly enough. We found the letter she sent Virginia legislative leaders in January of 2020, urging them to do more to keep guns legally sold in Virginia from being used in D.C. crimes. Illegal guns originating in Virginia are a key driver of gun crime in D.C., Bowser wrote. 4 months later, she signed that mayor's order authorizing D.C.'s police department to become an FFL themselves, and those ATF records show MPD helped sell guns eventually used in crime too. We reached out to the mayor's office but didn't get a response. A spokesperson for D.C. police did tell us once it stopped being an FFL, the department complied with federal law and sent all their records to the ATF.
Now, have you ever wondered who might be the biggest legal gun dealer in the city? You might be surprised to learn that for most of 2020 and 2021, it was none other than the biggest gang in D.C., the Metropolitan Police Department. The Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C. found itself in this awkward position, not only selling firearms but also conducting the only federal background checks in the city. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF, noticed an alarming trend. A concerning number of guns that the Metropolitan Police Department helped bring into the district ended up at crime scenes. So many, in fact, that the ATF placed the DC police into a program designed to give extra scrutiny to dealers with higher levels of so-called crime guns. The Metropolitan Police Department's gun dealing operation was way different than your normal gun store. When a DC resident wanted a legal handgun, they would often go to a gun store in Virginia or Maryland, or to an online site. They would pick out their firearm, pay for it, and have it shipped to a licensed dealer in DC, in this case, the DC Police Headquarters. This dealer played a major role in the sale process, conducting the only federal background check in the district, looking for past crimes or other disqualifications. The group Brady United Against Gun Violence has been vocal about this issue. They recently released hundreds of letters sent by the ATF to gun dealers across the country that sold 25 or more guns recovered at crime scenes in a single year. Among these letters, one sent to the Metropolitan Police Department in May 2022 stood out. The ATF calls this the Demand To program. The numbers are alarming. According to Brady, only 2% of gun dealers across the country are in the ATF program any given year. They found 14 dealers in D.C., Northern Virginia, and the Maryland suburbs, including the Metropolitan Police Department. This means at least 25 of the guns the Metropolitan Police Department helped sell to D.C. residents in 2020 and 2021 were recovered at crime scenes in 2021 alone. Federal firearms licensees play a crucial role in crime investigations. When a gun is found at a crime scene, the ATF traces it back to the original sale and follows the trail to see who else may have bought the gun before it was used in a crime. This process helps develop suspects. The ATF uses a calculation called time to crime, which is the time from the first sale of a gun to when it is found at a crime scene. On average, this is 10 years. However, for the guns recovered at crime scenes that the DC police helped sell, the time to crime was at most 20 months, less than 2 years. This significantly shorter time to crime indicates potential illegal trafficking and warrants additional scrutiny into the gun dealer. The Metropolitan Police Department has since ceased its operations as a federal firearms licensee. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. More DMV rap files are coming soon. Please be patient with me. Thank you for watching Paperwork TV. I hope you learned something today. Y'all be safe out here. And most important of all, stay dangerous, Mo.
Solo.